Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, welcome to this episode of Writing Shotgun with Charlie for Armed Lifestyle Magazine, and I am honored to have with me Mark Keefe from the NRA. I have to look up at his title here. He is the Managing Director of Editing and Public Affairs. And Mark, it is great to have you to have a chance to interview you again. I'm honored by this. Thank you.
No, thank you, Charlie. And there's less chance of me getting car sick this time.
Right. Good thing we had the motion discomfort receptacles nearby.
Yeah, no. I spent a lot of time in the car, Charlie. But no, it's great to see you again. Great to be on with you.
Oh, I'm honored. I'm honored very much. So you've got a million stories. You've got 35 years worth of stories, more than 35 years, because you got 35 years of working with the NRA. You've been from working at the museum to starting to I don't even know, to write, and then to start make videos. You've got American Rifleman TV on the Outdoor Channel. Dude, you got a ton of stuff, and you've got to have a boatload of stories, and I would love to hear some of these.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the formative stuff. You know, my friend Phil Schreier got a job in 1989 at the National Firearms Museum, so I started volunteering there. I was an NRA certified instructor, rifle, shotgun, muzzleloading rifle, muzzleloading shotgun. And so we had this great range in the basement of the old NRA building, but Scott Circle on Mass Ave in DC. Everything you want, lead dust, asbestos, it had it all. And so I don't know if that's true. I know there was lead dust. But anyway, so they would have me come in on weekends, and there'd be 4-H groups or Boy Scouts, and we had some air guns, and we let them shoot air guns down there. But also we do curatorial stuff. And so before the museum would open, it's typically Phil and myself, maybe one other person some days. And we'd be moving cases around and that sort of thing. And so Phil's like, hey, go into the back. We need to get tools out of the storage area there. And these were just great, big, huge, double-sided cases. Built by the American Rifleman staff with no extra compensation in the 1950s under the direction of the formidable Walter J. Howe. It was like, you guys want a job, you got to build cases. So they did the 1950s National Firearms Museum, but there's just a piece of plywood running up, and then glass and hooks and burlap and tags, and these casters are from the 50s, and I'm going to move two of these things to get to the tools I needed. So I'm pushing on this case, and you know how old casters are, right? They kind of chirp, and all of a sudden the thing starts cavitating. It starts going like this. The thing's like 8 feet tall. And I'm like, what? And finally, I managed to keep it from crushing me or falling over. But then there was this bang, and it's the sound of gun hitting burlap with a small drop. I'm like, oh no, I'm fired. Wait, I'm a volunteer. I can't be fired. And Phil Schreier's like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know, Phil, what's on the other side of case 14? He goes, oh, nothing, just the Mayflower gun.
What?
So at the time, it's a German Italian wheel lock carbine, wheel lock. It's like a Zippo lighter and a Swiss watch and about 5 other things that combine to make an ignition system. Well, at the time, one of the curators there, with dubious provenance, thought this gun came over on the Mayflower. And so it was very prominently displayed in our museum, except for that day, it was on the backside. And Phil's like, don't let it be the Mayflower gun. Don't let it be, it's the Mayflower gun. And there it is, laying in the bottom of the case. Most important firearm in all of North America, and I just broke it. So I'm like, okay, what do we do? And I looked around at Phil, and I just said, well, you're a museum guy. Can't we do like a museum restoration? This little sliver of wood had come off.
Yeah.
And so and once we got to look at it, it wasn't the first. So this thing's restocked in New England maple. It was not the first time that this thing had broken there.
Sure.
So we got some museum guy glue, and then we got this British museum wax, and we covered it all up and hung it back up, and didn't tell anybody for about 20 years.
Oh my God, that's great.
So nobody ever noticed, and it turns out that this gun is early. It's been in North America a long time, but there's nothing that ties it to the Mayflower.
Yeah.
Certainly in New England at some point, the lock work when the wheel lock nerds really dug into it,
Hmm.
they think it's 1670, 1680, Plymouth Rock, all that 1620. So not a
Right.
Mayflower gun, but certainly a cool gun.
Right. For a gun from that time. That is pretty wild. Like I can't even fathom the stuff that you guys would have or bring in or have access to. Like
Yeah.
it,
So the great
it,
thing.
it boggles my
Oh yeah.
mind.
No, no. So this goes. The National Firearms Museum goes from, a wall gun found in Germany, and I don't know. I think it dates to about 13 something,
Wow.
all the way up to stuff that got made last year, like the Keltec guys. They don't want our review guns back. They're like, just give them to the museum. So, um, yeah, I think Phil's got about 3,000 guns on display here. He's got the National Sporting Arms Museum in Springfield. So, if you want to hear another interesting museum gun story,
Absolutely.
so Charlie, are you familiar with a Falkner Hill rifle?
Okay, I'm not.
Okay, no, nobody is. That's okay. It
Okay.
was a trick question.
I shouldn't
So,
feel special.
but it was a British semi-automatic rifle, early British semi-automatic rifle that Mr. Hill wanted. Colonel Hill, I forget. I got to go look those guys up. But two guys collaborated on this rifle, and it competed against the Lewis gun, and not successfully. It had a very cool magazine, like a drum magazine, snail drum magazine. Kind of a neat looking gun. It's on our website. You can probably pull that up. But we were doing some research. We're doing this World War One exhibit. I mean, I was an actual employee, so I could be fired at this point. And I'm looking at these patents, and I'm like, I don't know which one this is. There's like a 1913, there's 15, 17. I'm like, I don't know if this thing's a machine gun or not, because it could have been a machine gun.
Right.
Because you know, I'm looking at the Sears, trying to figure out how it all works. It's really, I mean, just a goofy gun. And the then director said, "Look, I don't know if we have a machine gun or not, but you two go find out." So again, Phil Schreier and me, we take this thing down to the basement, and we load this magazine up with 303 British, right? Because we collect Enfields. So there's this old test tunnel that I think actually went out under Rhode Island Avenue in the old NRA building. Again, not recommended. I think it's a Marriott now. It doesn't matter. But this tunnel, it's like a 25-yard tunnel, and nobody had used it in years, and we weren't even sure we were supposed to be using it.
Oh my
But
God.
she wanted us to find out if it was a machine gun, so loaded it up.
What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, yeah. And so I get down behind it, and I didn't even do the tire thing or anything like that. I figured, there's enough steel there to hold. And I fired, boom. And Phil goes, "Is it a machine gun?" I'm like, "I don't know. I let go of the trigger." So, so there was this secondary safety thing that could have maybe disabled the sear, but it turns out that wasn't the case. So, but anyhow, so here we have, a couple hundred rounds of 303, a gun that hasn't been shot since 1917.
Oh
It's
my
like we got to
gosh.
clean it anyway.
Right, may as well make it worth cleaning. That's awesome. So did
Yeah.
you guys go through all the rounds, all the ammo?
We went through a bunch. Yeah, we shot a
Bunch of
couple
it.
of magazines a piece, and then we were afraid. There's some parts in there that are kind of fragile that we
Right. You don't
worry.
want to you
And
don't
and
want
that gun was, yeah. Oh yeah, no, no. I already broke one historically significant
to
artifact in the
right, let's
museum.
not break two.
Why not? Why not two? Yeah.
That's incredible. That is incredible. This is the stuff that goes on in museums that you like, I guess you don't think about how all this stuff happens. I remember talking with Phil and putting the displays together is sometimes the least of the I don't want to say the least of the work, but it's there's a lot more to it to running the museum and putting all this stuff together.
Yeah. So just if you want a little exciting inside baseball look, uh, changing light bulbs, making sure the humidity and temperature are correct. I mean, there's little stuff that happens every day, and the way that museum's constructed is a beautiful facility, but in order to get some of those light bulbs, you have to like limbo, go through this back door and limbo under something, and then go stand with 1 foot
Yeah,
but they're getting new donations all the time. They recently got a legitimate dance Confederate revolver. They got a beautiful safari set of I think they're model 70s, but fun stuff comes in every day, and just about everything in that museum has been donated
that's wild.
by members, sometimes by companies. They've bought a few things like some John Wayne guns.
Hmm.
There's another gun that they bought recently, but I can't talk about that one yet. So, but
Okay,
yeah, no, it's really the members' collection. The members have given it to us. We're taking good care of it.
that's fantastic. That is fantastic. So, part of what your part of some of your job over the years has been to go out and go on hunting trips and figure out why, um, like you talked before about how sometimes you wondered why something like why was the cocking device over here and why was the safety over here and then why was the shoulder stock made this way. um, you've had to go on a boatload of cool hunting trips all over the world, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. So typically they're new product trips. They'll companies will invite a group of writers, and so yeah, it just depends on what it is. I've been very fortunate that my from 1991 until 1995, I was on the technical staff. Yeah, so I
mhm.
was just answering letters, testing guns, writing them up, and then I've continued to be a gun writer. Even did I think it was January cover story, the new Browning A5. So I've tested rifles, pistols, shotguns, and sometimes it's a waterfowl hunt. Sometimes it's I did a moose trip to Alaska with the new 450 then new 450 Marlin, um, and the Hornady guys, or you know been to Africa a number of times as well. So
that's that's really cool. I how does somebody get a job like this? You know what I mean? Like, did you start out as a young guy saying, "Hey, you know what? I think I want to work in a museum and test guns and write about guns for a living." Like that doesn't
yeah,
really
so
come
that's
up in
nobody's
career day, does it?
no, no, no. So yeah, I went to University of Maryland, got a history degree, and then my buddy Phil, we were both working at Goshen Scout Reservation, shooting sports director. Teaching rifle shooting, shotgun shooting, archery, and then eventually Phil got this NRA job, and I was planning on graduate school but couldn't afford it, and so he got the weekends job, and then once he went full time, I got the weekend job, and I think it was early '91. A technical editor, assistant technical editor, opened up at
Hmm.
American Rifleman. I went over and interviewed for it with one of the world's great humans, Pete Dickey, funny, bright guy. He took a chance on me, and just kind of worked my way up. There's just a great culture here. Most of the guys on the staff have been here 20 years, right? And
Hmm.
passing on their knowledge. And if you didn't know something or couldn't figure it out, you go and ask somebody.
Right.
And sadly, I'm the people that they bring parts to now, and they can't get something back together. So, but yeah, no, I started off, doing small things, book reviews, Q&As, and then dope bag reviews.
Hmm.
Full on gun reviews that we still do, and then eventually some feature writing and big stories about big guns or cartridges or what have you. If it's a
Yeah,
significant new product and you're a maker, you want it in the pages of rifle.
for sure, for sure. I think it's really cool that that somebody can get a job at the NRA. Again, start off volunteering at the museum and then work his way up and have all these different titles and um, I don't want to say have different careers, but have a career that varies even though you're at the same place.
Right.
I've listened to one of the motivational guys I listen to likes to say, do you have 20 years of experience or do you have 1 year of experience 20 times? And I've got to imagine with with everything that you've done, like everything changes. Besides the technology changes, like you've got a job doing this, and then they say, hey, we're gonna make you a writer, and then okay, by the way, we're gonna make you a TV show, and you're gonna be the star of the TV show too. So there's got to be a lot of that. Not necessarily imposter syndrome, but like how did I get here, and how did it end up here? Do you know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah. So Yeah, it's funny. I had a talk with one of my colleagues. You know, do you work for the NRA or do you think the NRA works for you? And I've always thought that I'm an NRA employee first and foremost,
Yeah.
and I've been given opportunities. 1995, I became the second youngest managing editor, and that's because there was nobody else around to do it.
Mm,
Um, and so I became managing editor and was doing not just the managing editor's job, but also the editor's job. So I'm used to being abused by my employer, right? And I guess the reward for good work is more work. And the
right.
TV thing was kind of funny. I don't know if I told you, I was hanging out with the executive vice president of the Outdoor Channel, and then my boss calls me in and said, "Hey, here's a memorandum of understanding. You've got a TV show now. Tell me what you need. Figure it out." So I'd been in the drama club a little in high school, but that's not really, what I thought my career path was,
Not
right?
quite the
So
same.
yeah, no,
Right.
mostly building sets.
Right.
But but yeah, no, it turned into something, and I think it represents NRA really well to a different audience because every time somebody hits that button, on their Wednesday night or the GVR, this is an NRA show where we work to a certain standard. We're trying to educate, inform, and
Mm,
entertain folks, and do it in a proper way. It's not like
right.
we're turning AKs into shovels.
Right. Or shovels into AKs.
Yeah, yeah, same thing. If you
Yeah.
can make a shovel, you can make an AK.
Oh my gosh, that's too cool. That is too cool. Um, yeah, some other hunting stories, some American Rifleman stuff. Like, how do you know what to put together when somebody says, "Hey, we got a TV show. You're taking it. What do you need?" You got to sit there and be like, I don't know what I need. I need a stiff drink to start off here."
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I looked at the format. So there really wasn't much in the way of gun television. There'd been, what was it, American Shooter, the Scouting Show,
Hmm.
that had been on TBS, and they were just
Oh,
starting up.
Shooting USA
It was something
before
else that was
Shooting
on
USA.
TBS. Yeah,
Okay, okay, sorry.
yeah. So Jim was actually on like TBS on or TNT, one of them on like Saturday mornings. And so, but I looked at other shows that dealt with products,
Hmm.
Motor Trend and some others, just in terms of how to test it. We really looked at, what do people like about the magazines? Because we have a sort of a grid that each magazine, you got to have a pistol story, a rifle story, hopefully a shotgun story, then a history story, then a
Right.
how-to, and how to build all that in. And I must say, it's probably just as well that those 2003, 2004 shows live on bootleg DVDs in the bottom of my desk because they weren't that good. And they were okay. Content was good, but the lighting and the plan, we were trying to do too much, too many segments. And then we eventually settled we want a feature story. We want to be able to do like the guys just got back from Lexington, Concord, Bunker Hill,
Hmm.
Boston. It's, 25 marks the 250th anniversary of the shot heard around the world.
Yeah.
So we're doing a four show series there. But then, we'll go to, I just went to a new Caltech facility in Wyoming. I've been to, Gerson and a car in Turkey. So we kind of mix up, some shooting competitions and some history stuff and how things are made. Because I think it's one of the important things we do is why does a gun cost so much? Well, if
Mm.
I show you how they made it, you'll understand it.
Right. I can't even fathom. I had I'm an old school guy. I carry a revolver. I carry a little 5-shot J-frame, and I
Is it
decided
a
to
340? Because me too.
three four what is it? Not the three. I think I have a 340.
Is it the
Mine's a
scanning?
637.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, right. And so I decided to have to get a bobbed hammer on it and turn it to a double action only. So I bought a bobbed hammer from, I don't know, Midway or Brownells or somewhere, and it just sat around for forever. And finally, like a few months ago, I'm like, all right, I'm taking this thing in. I'm getting this done. And I took it in, and then the gunsmith says to me, he tells me that the hammer's not great. There's going to be a couple of little areas where the air can get in and dust can get in. And so he said what he'll do is he'll just take the hammer off the old one and leave that on. I'm like, all right, as long as there's no issues, problems, that'll be cool. And he says, by the way, I don't. When was the last time you cleaned your gun? And I'm like Cleaned it? He's like, no, like taking it apart to clean it. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I'm not taking that thing apart. There's no way. I'm like, I don't have, first of all, I don't have the, like a gunsmithing tool set. Second of all, there's no way, like if springs are going to pop out and things are going to come out, I am not going to do that. I was talking with somebody recently, and they said that he said when he takes his gun apart to give it a deep clean, he puts his hands inside of a Ziploc, so when things go flying out, they stay inside the Ziploc. I'm like, that is an amazing idea.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I take guns apart all the time. And don't be afraid of the smith. Just use a hollow ground gunsmithing screwdriver.
Okay.
And Jerry Kuhnhausen books are the best, but there's also a lot of stuff on YouTube. But uh, if ever you come into my office, you'll see there are these little gouges on the desk. It's not so bad in this office because I've only been here since 21, but my old desk, there's just these rough gouges, and part of that is trying to get strikers or firing pins, you know, back together, getting the cocking piece right.
Oh,
And I was in Herndon, that's where we were for a couple of years, and I think it was a Mauser 98. And I'm trying to get this thing back together, trying to get it back together, and I've got the striker here, and something slips, and the firing pin shoots across the room like a dart
oh.
and sticks in the drywall. Just as this dude walks in and says, "Hey, Mark," and then he goes, and it's going thwong next to his
Oh.
head. He goes, "You know what? I'll come back later. It's fine."
I'll come back
So
when you're not busy.
another good trick is you need one of those. Keep it away from your computer, but you need one of those Bugs Bunny magnets
Oh.
so that when you drop a part or a spring goes across the room or whatever, you just kind of sweep your, again, it'll kill your CPU, but you'll get your ejector back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's where I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Like a good man's got to know his limitations, right? That's my limitation, man. I clean the outside of the gun. I'm not taking it apart. I'm not undoing screws. There's no way. No way. I don't trust myself.
Now, next time you're up, I'll drop you a couple of screwdrivers.
That would be cool. That'd be very cool. All right. We only have a few minutes left. What else has been going on? What are some good things that are going on at the NRA?
Yeah,
This
so
is the
we're getting ready for the SHOT Show, right?
Yes, this show's going to
We've got an
drop
NRA.
around SHOT Show time.
Yeah, yeah. And so we've been working, with different manufacturers to do some, we call them new for 25 videos. I think my team's going to have about 60 videos done uh, across, Rifleman, Hunter, Illustrated, to coincide with new releases.
Hmm.
So, we're on, we got the embargo schedule, which day it lifts, which gun we can post. So we got that going on. Then we've got, after we go to SHOT, a lot of meetings, media day at the range. I'm not going this year, but then we've got the Great American Outdoor Show up in Harrisburg,
Yeah.
largest outdoor show in the country. So big Friends of NRA event that Friday night,
Hmm.
the 31st. And then I'll be up there for a couple of days, and I'll come back for the Riley Green concert, which is going to be, I believe it's the ninth. That's Saturday night. So
Very
final night of
cool.
the show.
Very cool. Very cool. That sounds awesome. Well, I like I said, we need to wrap things up. I hope to catch you at these. I'm heading to SHOT Show, and that first weekend of the Great American Outdoor Show, I'm going to be in Harrisburg too.
Oh,
Uh,
great.
so it's going to be fun. It's gonna be really good. Really good. Um, Anything else? How can people like? What would you like to plug here for the Arm
Yeah,
Lifestyle
sure.
magazine audience?
Yeah, if you're a responsible gun owner, you owe it to yourself and a free nation to be a member of the National Rifle Association. Go to NRA.org and sign up. We need you.
All right, very cool. I'll put some links in the show description. It's great to talk to you, and I appreciate your time, Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlie. Always a pleasure.